First look at Borderlands 4 at the Game Awards today, so let's go over everything you need to know. First off, if you want to watch the full trailer, I will link it in the description, but in this video, we're going to focus more on a breakdown. Starting off, we have the ending of the teaser trailer where some mysterious figure is looking at a psycho mask. It zooms out and we see the side of their head. Now, it's been widely speculated that this is a Guardian, but from the looks of it, I don't think it is. This looks like something entirely new. In the next scene, this robotic psycho is getting a mask slapped on their face, but right after there's a lot of focus on this thing right here. And this could be one of the antagonists for Borderlands 4, and I'll get to that in just a second. As you can see, they have a diverse and strong following. They all look into the sky, and you can see Elpis, the moon, that Lilith teleported at the end of Borderlands 3, and here it is crashing into the force field and shattering it. So Lilith has done something pretty big here, and they don't look too happy about it. Now, you might be wondering, what is this planet that we crashed into? Well, according to the Borderlands 4 Game Awards article, this place is known as Kairos, and all that is said is that it's a powder keg ready to explode. So something really serious is going down here. Right across from the Cyborg's Psycho Army, there is another threat, and this is who the Cyborg Army is taking on. As for what these things are, we could always guess, but we really don't know yet. Right after getting an overhead of this massive organized army, we zoom up to the rocks and we see a shadowy figure. From the notes, we are told this is the Timekeeper, a ruthless dictator who dominates the masses from high. Timekeeper is a pretty serious name. Is he gonna actually control time? And it does beg the question, are we gonna experience time travel in this game? But all you need to know is this guy is the big bad, and it's who we're taking down. Now we see the robotic cultist bandits from before, running in to fight that army we just saw. Are we on any sides with them as the Vault Hunters? Only time will tell. Right after that, we get some cinematic shots of the maps, and look at this scene here. It's entirely possible the Scab faction is back from Borderlands pre-sequel, because as you know from Borderlands 3, the Children of the Vault are no more. Now I'm gonna say it, but the maps don't look that much different from what we see in Borderlands 3. The design is different, but I mean, it still looks similar to how it was in Borderlands 3. Alright, now for the big reveal, we get a glimpse at the 4 Vault Hunters, and they all seem to follow a cyberpunk futuristic look. Now unfortunately, we don't get a ton of information on the Vault Hunters, and that's probably intended because they want to show that off later on. We see the big guy slam it to the ground, so slamming could be back. And we also get a first look at the guns, and they have that Borderlands 3 vibe to them. As for the guy on the left side, you can see he's summoning energy swords, so it's safe to assume he's going to be the melee Vault Hunter. He pulls out 2 energy swords using the robotic arms on his back, and has a special HUD display on the front of his face. We don't get a look in first person for what he sees, but maybe we'll see those HUD elements and they'll mean something. Guys, check this out. This is the playable Siren. Unfortunately, we don't get any gameplay of the Siren action just yet, and before people point it out, I don't think this is Ava. Some have speculated we're playing Ava, all grown up, but Ava has blue Siren tattoos. This chick has purple, so it's something entirely different. In this scene, you can see one of the iconic psychos, but they look much different, more futuristic, and there's a lot more tech going on. It seems the bandits have tech behind them now. And guys, look at this. It looks like a laser cannon, so it is entirely possible that laser weapons are returning to the franchise. I've always been a fan of those in the pre-sequel, so glad to see that. Check this out. Digistructing a vehicle from nowhere. I looked around in the scene and I do not see a car station anywhere near the guy, so we might be taking the Destiny route and summoning our vehicle from anywhere on demand. I think that's a good change because tracking down a car station is no fun once your car blows up, and this makes traversing the land much easier. As for the car, very steampunky, not much to really say about that. And then here he is, our first returning character. Gotta say, Zane is one of my favorite characters from Borderlands 3, so it's good to see him return. And he's got a new look to him. Well, not his clone. I like that, and hopefully he plays a major focus in the game, or, you know, just give us side missions, something fun to do. Right after that, we see 2 more people, and there's nothing told about them, but they might be important for the story. And then, of course, we find Claptrap. Claptrap doesn't look much different, but this time around, he has a tool belt. I might be looking too far into this, but maybe he revives the Claptrap lion? I mean, after all, he did build Veronica, a Claptrap unit, in BL3. It's not impossible. Okay, now for the loot, and everybody's big question. Are Annoyance gonna return? Well, if you look at the loot, all of the non-legendaries are standard beams, and then the legendaries have a special like rainbow effect around them, and it's only on the legendaries, so maybe this is the standard beam for legendaries, or maybe legendaries get a special extra, I don't want to say it, but Annoyance? I hope not. We don't see any cards, so we can't confirm any bonuses or anything like that. But they have that iconic orange beam. The beam's taller than all the other rarities, and it has a nice little rainbow effect around the bottom of it. Up next, we see a HUD-less view of the gameplay, but it's mostly just a look at the weapons being held and the maps. And again, the art style is very similar to Borderlands 3, except maybe now there's just better shading. Not entirely a bad thing, but I'm just glad the graphic design didn't change too much. Keep that Borderlands style. Then we have a look at a bunch of enemies, what could be enemies or bosses, and they're all just moving around in their respective environments, but everything seems to be a little bit, futuristic, cybernetic, upgraded. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Now for some gameplay excitement, we actually have grappling. You need to go from floor 1 to floor 2, find one of these special indicators, shoot it, and make your way up. This seems to be that melee Vault Hunter I mentioned earlier. He throws his stick down to stun the enemies, and this could be part of his action skill, part of his skill tree, or maybe the new grenades. We don't have a HUD, so it's kind of hard to tell. Right after, he pulls out 2 elemental axes, one in left hand and one in right hand. The left one is fire and the right one is ice. So fire and cryo element are confirmed to be coming back. But check this out, when he throws the axe, the other one despawns. So maybe you have a choice here in combat to choose what element you want to throw. So if the enemies in front of you are weak to fire damage, then maybe left click. But if they're weak to cryo damage, right click. At the very end, we do see the timekeeper standing in front of a vault, and surrounding him seems to be the aftermath of that battle happening at the very beginning of the trailer. The timekeeper is still a mystery, and I'm sure we're going to get more information on this guy later on. At the very end, we see a bunch of flashes and a lot happens, and then we see even more of these crypto quotes, and at this point in time of recording this video, it has not been solved, but I will be sure to pin a comment down below once it is. Anyways, that's going to be it for the reveal.